everyone, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Although this isn't just a regular old speed build, this is actually a build battle with the wonderful ThomasTV. So basically what this is we're both trying to recreate the same floor plan and see who did it better. So be sure to check out his video on this as well and let us know in the comments down below who you thought did this better. And also you should just check out his channel in general because he puts out a lot of amazing building videos, like he does weekly 64x64 mansion speed builds. Although I think now they're actually twice a week. Like I think his video on this is going to be sandwiched on either side by a 64x64 mansion speed build. And it is just mind-blowing to me that he is able to put large detail builds out twice a week on top of other builds throughout the week. So if you're really into building videos, then I highly recommend that you check out his channel. And he also does creative sims and machinimas and other types of videos, so he just has a really cool channel. So I'll have a link to his channel as well as his video on this in the description so you can check that out. And also have a link to the floor plan that we were trying to recreate so you could see what we were going for. Because the floor plan he challenged me to recreate was for a fairly simple, like single-story craftsman home, and I ended up going for a rustic farmhouse style of it rather than directly trying to copy how the house looked. Because I've done a couple other single-floor craftsman homes in The Sims 4, and those I did using the wallpapers that came with seasons, so I didn't want to use those again because I felt like it would have just come out looking too similar to the other one, so I just wanted this one to look a little different than the other craftsman style homes that I made. So what I've done is I've used dark brown windows along with the white paneling that I think was from Cats and Dogs, because I felt like that had a really nice contrast to it, and it definitely does have a rustic farmhouse kind of vibe to it, which I really like. Like it's I think it turned out to be a really cute house, and I'm really excited to see what his take on this was because we agreed to keep it a surprise until our videos go up, so neither of us have any clue what the other did with this. So I'm excited to see if he ended up going in a different direction than the house originally looked as well. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to seeing his video on this as well, which should go up at the same time this one does. So, you know, like after you finish watching this, you can go over to his channel and check his out as well. But in addition to that paneling that I used, I also added in some of this scalped wallpaper along the roof line at the top just to break it up a little bit, just so there wasn't only one wallpaper used all over it, although it still is mostly the white paneling. And I was trying to add that awning thing above the window there, but I just felt like it was a little too busy, or like the roofing didn't look the same as like the regular roof, so it just looked kind of weird. So I decided to scratch that idea. And also with this build, I used that whole like roof trick that I've seen other people do for the garage. So I just took the half gable roof and stuck it going up to the garage, so it looks kind of like a ramp. And I am really hoping that we get garages someday, and after the recent Maxis Monthly stream, it seems like maybe that's a possibility because there did seem to be some hints. Because in case you didn't know, in the Maxis Monthly stream that was earlier this week, they revealed that terrain tools are going to be coming to The Sims 4 in, I believe, November. And when SimGuru Romeo was messing around with the terrain tools, he was building what looked like a garage, and then apparently there are some other hints, so it's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but it seemed like maybe a hint that cars and garages would be coming to The Sims 4, which I know like seems kind of useless because we don't have an open world, but I still think it would be something nice so your Sims could get into their cars and like back out of their driveway and then just drive off, or maybe not. I don't know if it would like, if in The Sims 4 it'd be done like the teleporting way it was in The Sims 3, but still, we had cars in The Sims 2 without open world, so I think it is still something that is useful. Although I hope that if it comes back, they won't do the driveways the same way they did in The Sims 2, because while that was more realistic, it was annoying because we were a bit more limited in how you could place garage or driveways, because you had to have them on flat ground in order for them to function, if I remember correctly. So I actually did kind of like how in The Sims 3, you just had to have like flat land for the car parking spot, and that was about it. Like you could just stick it wherever you want on the lot and it would function. So I'm hoping that if they do bring that back, they combine the two in some way where you still have the animation of them leaving their driveway, but you're not so limited in how you can place the driveways, although I'm not sure. Like, this is speculation. Like, I'm not sure if we're even going to get it, but that's just what I'm hoping for if we do. And also, I am really, really excited for terrain tools. Like, that was something I wanted in this game, but I wasn't sure if it was something that we would ever get, but I'm so happy that we were getting it. Also, I like the way they revealed it, although I didn't actually realize it when I was watching the stream at first, because I wasn't actually like watching it because I was at work when the stream was going on, but they were hinting that there was going to be something big being announced, so I decided that I was just going to turn my phone upside down on my desk so I could listen and I could hear in the moment what this new thing was going to be, and then I figured when I get home from work, I'll watch the videos on and actually see what it is. So I just completely missed the whole reveal of the terrain tools, because in case you don't know, like, what they did was, while SimGuru Kate was just casually talking about the Game Changers program, SimGuru Romeo was sitting there just playing around with the terrain tools. Like, none of them said a word about it. So of course, due to the fact that I wasn't watching the stream, I completely missed that. And then afterwards, I went on Twitter because I was just curious as to what everyone thought on the fashion career, because while I think the fashion career is cool and I'm looking forward to it, and I actually think it would be perfect for Calla from my Sims 4 Season 2 Let's Play, I was a little bit underwhelmed because I felt like that didn't quite live up to the hype that I felt they were giving the stream. So I was just kind of curious as to what everyone else was thinking on it. And then when I go to Twitter, I just see everyone talking about terrain tools. I'm like, wait, what the hell? Were you guys watching or listening to the same stream? Were you guys watching the same stream I was listening to? And then I realized that they did that sneaky reveal, which I completely missed. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, it looks, I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's terrain paints, like I know we've had in previous games, but I'm really excited to see how they're going to incorporate that into The Sims 4. Hopefully that means that in the future we can get worlds with, like, that already come with more diverse terrain, like maybe cliff lots or hilly lots or that kind of a thing. Like, you have to build with the terrain that comes with the world. Although I'm not sure if, like, because I saw where SimGuru Grant was kind of saying that, like, some things function differently on and off lot, but, you know, maybe in the future, now that we have this, that is something that will be implemented. And it also looks like you can have different foundation heights between different structures, which is really cool. So you could have, like, one building on your lot that's on a foundation and then another that's not on a foundation at all, which is awesome, because I know in the past, like, I've had builds where I made a shed and then I wish that, you know, the house could be on foundation, but the shed didn't have to be. So it's really cool that it looks like that's something we'll potentially be able to do. So I can't wait to make builds using this, because I'm just going to go nuts with the terrain tools once it comes out. And I'm also wondering if that means that the constrained floor elevation cheat could possibly come back. I'm not sure though, because that probably won't work with the room system of The Sims 4 very well, and I don't think that's as needed in The Sims 4, because the roof tools in The Sims 4 are better than they were in The Sims 3. Like, you can create glass dome roofs, which is something that I use that cheat for a lot in The Sims 3. I mean, freezes would be nice, but you can kind of do that with half walls, although it's still not the same thing. But maybe that's another thing they could implement separately. Like, I don't know. I could, like, it would be cool for Return, but I could also deal without it. I just don't think it's as necessary for this game. And I'm also looking forward to the fashion career, because I really like that with that you can actually make over Sims. So it's kind of like the stylist career that we had with The Sims 3 Ambitions. So yeah, that'll be really cool. And like I said, it'll be absolutely perfect for Calla from my Season 2 Let's Play, because I did have her in the fashion career mod, but I kept having issues with that not working anymore. And I'm assuming that it's probably still broken, because Brit Pinky Sims, who made that mod, I don't believe makes mods anymore, because last I checked she was on a hiatus. So if it is broken, then, like, because I know it broke in the past, so I imagine that it still hasn't been fixed since then. So I wasn't sure, like, what to do with her career-wise when that series comes back, but good to know that there will be this perfect career for her. So I'll probably wait till after that patch comes out to bring the series back, so that the first part back in it we can explore that career a bit with her. And also, SimGuru Kate did hint that there was going to be some kind of announcement early next week. So I'm thinking like Monday or Tuesday. So I'm wondering what that's going to be. Like, maybe they'll announce some other kind of free content, or maybe they're going to announce the next pack. I'm not really sure. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of exciting things coming out next week. And there's also going to be like the live stream later in the week for the terrain tool. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Although that, I don't think I'm going to try watching my phone upside down at work, because that's not really going to do a whole lot of good. That's going to be completely pointless. So that's one I'll just wait till I get home to watch. But getting back to the house we were making here, I'm well through the outside of the house. So I'm just working on decorating the deck on the back and then the porch on the front, and then actually no, I still have to decorate the greenhouses and the shed first before I get to that. But yeah, I did stick a shed on the side of the house because when I was trying to figure out the landscaping, I was getting a little stuck there because there's just one flat side of the house, and usually when I work on builds, I like to have different protrusions and stuff like that from the house just to keep the shape a little bit more interesting and less box-like. But since we're trying to stick to a floor plan, I couldn't really do that. Like, I didn't want to just extend a room out and alter that any. So what I decided to do to make that side of the house look a little bit more interesting is that I just stuck a shed up against it using the roof, which I thought looked really cool, and I felt like it fit in with the rustic look of this house. And then here we just have a couple of greenhouses here. So this is definitely a very outdoors focused house, or like, you know, it's definitely a very gardening focused exterior. So there's plenty of space if you have a sim who loves to garden. We also got a flower arranging station here, and I just did this thing I did in my last build where I stuck a whole bunch of flower items around it to look like arrangements that your sim has already made, although they aren't the actual floral arrangements that they made. But I just thought that looked a little bit prettier than sticking a bunch of those around it, because also I think when you pull them out of the By Debug catalog, they don't look how they do if your sim makes them, like they're missing some of the flowers. So that doesn't really work, because the last build I made, I tried doing that and it didn't work. Like it just looked like it was hardly, like it just looked like a bunch of sticks. So yeah, couldn't really use those. And here in the front, I also added this little sitting area with some of those nice benches in it just because I wanted a little bit more going on the front yard. So I thought that'd be something nice to make it feel a little bit more landscaped. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how the landscaping of this house turned out, although I wasn't really sure at first because I actually had a couple of failed attempts at landscaping the lawn where I wasn't sure like how to arrange the flowers and what kind of flowers to use, because honestly, one of my least favorite parts of working on a build is probably just figuring out what plants I'm going to use, how I'm going to place them. Like usually I'll go through a couple of tries before I settle on something that I like I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know, I just have a hard time sometimes trying to get the right floor arrangement. I also like to use, I try to use different arrangements between different builds, like not just use the same flowers in every single build, but I end up kind of doing that anyway. But with this build, I felt like it was better to just go for a very colorful look because the building itself is very neutral. So I thought it'd be nice to have really colorful flowers around it to just add pops of color, make it look a little bit more vibrant. But that is it for the outside of the house, so we are moving on to the inside. And on the inside, I kept with the more rustic and older look that the outside has. So we just got this older paneling in here and some kind of older looking wood floors. And I was thinking about doing this thing here where I combine the curtain from Seasons and the curtain from Cats and Dogs, because I thought, oh, maybe it looks kind of cool to have the white on the bottom from the Seasons curtain. But nah, I just realized that looked kind of weird and was a little too much to combine the two of them. So just went with the Cats and Dogs one. But yeah, this room just has a really cute country look to it. And then the floor plan also had a fireplace, and it looked like bookshelves on either side of the fireplace, so I tried to recreate that as well. And I also like this combination of couches that I use. Like I thought that this striped coloring of the base game couches looked really good with this couch from Cats and Dogs. Like it kind of tied in with the brown curtains, so I was pretty happy when I figured out that combination. But another thing about this is that we decided to make a basement for this house because the floor plan, it had stairs going down to a basement, but it didn't actually have a floor plan for the basement. So we decided to go ahead and furnish a basement for this house and just kind of do our own thing with it. So we can have a little bit more creativity with the floor plan down in the basement. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does down there as well. And that is why this video is a bit long for a smaller house, because I think I would have had like 25 minutes of footage if I just left it at the first floor. But since I did the basement, that added a bit more to it. But it was still really fun, and I've also been wanting to make basements in houses more often because it's just a really good way to like get some extra bedrooms in, like get some extra fun family hangout areas into homes, because like you can just do cool stuff with basements because they tend to be like more casual spaces that you can use to make fun hangout areas, or you can just use them to just store all your junk. Like that works too, like that's another use for them. Oh, and also speaking of basements, I'm hoping that with this terrain patch we can make walkout basements. I'm not sure if that's really possible because of how basements work in this game, because they're just on a level that's like they're kind of below everything, like below the lot. So to make walkout basements work, like if you're making a walkout basement out of a hill, I would think you would have to have it within the foundation. And I'm not sure if that, like, I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but I'm not sure if that's something that would even work unless they change the mechanic of foundations, which I'm really hoping they do, because like in The Sims 3, you can do walkout basements if you do this thing where you like lower the ground and then delete the foundation apart from like around the edge. Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense here explaining this, but there is a way you can make walkout basements in The Sims 3 that isn't technically using the basement tool. So I don't know if there's some way they could make it kind of like that in this game, although with the room tool, I don't think it's going to work. Like, I don't think there's a way where you can delete the foundation except for like around the edges of it in order to do something like that. But who knows? Like, maybe they'll figure something out with it. But I'm just not sure how it's going to work, like with having a foundation that's maybe taller than wall height, but we'll see. I know you can kind of do that now by deleting the ceiling above a basement, but that isn't always the most natural looking thing. It's like, it's kind of weird when you have this completely flat lot and then you have this random area that's like 8 feet down on the ground. Like, you can't really create a smooth transition up to the upper level. Or I mean, you kind of can, but you end up having to use those table or those rock table items from Outdoor Retreat. So it's not really the best solution, but I mean, maybe they could work off of that and do that. Like, there probably is a way they could figure out to make walkout basements happen. So fingers crossed that we get that in the future. But we are on to the kitchen now. Like, it's actually almost done. And I really like how this kitchen came out. Like, it's very cute and cozy. It's kind of in a typical style I do my kitchens in, but that's just really what I was feeling with this build. And it is kind of crammed over here because you have this diagonal counter island and the dining table really close together, and I was really worried that Sims wouldn't be able to get around it, but I did test it. Like, Sims can navigate through the kitchen, they can sit in all the chairs in the dining room, they can get back to where the bedrooms are. So I was really relieved to see that, because I didn't want to have to get rid of the island because I just really liked how that looked. But thankfully routing in The Sims 4 is pretty forgiving, so I was able to do that. But we are onto the hall bathroom now. So this is the bathroom for the kids. So yeah, I just did it in kind of a typical style of mine. Like, I wasn't really too creative with coming up with the combinations for wallpaper and flooring, and I was kind of going for a dated 90s vibe in here. So we got those same counters that we use in the kitchen, which look like something you'd maybe see in the house from the 90s, and then I used that other shower tub combo that came with the base game, which to me looks like another thing that you would see in a house from the 90s. So that's at least a little different than the Parenthood Shub and Tower. Why did you say like Shub and Tower? Tower in sub. What is wrong with me? Sorry. It's been a long day. I worked all day and then now I'm home recording this commentary. Shower and tub combo. There we go. Those are the right words. Yeah, so anyway, a little different than the ones that I regularly use. But we're on to the first of the children's bedrooms. Or at least I intended this bedroom to originally be a child's bedroom, but as I got to furnishing it, it looks more like something that would be for a teen, but you could definitely still use it for a child sim. Like, it would definitely work for that. You just might have to throw in a couple toys if you want to do that to complete the look, because I didn't really put any in here, but I don't know, maybe it's for a child who's on the brink of aging up into a teen, maybe, someone's at the end of their childhood, so I think it could work for that. And there is a huge play area in the basement, so I see this as being a house where multiple children live. So yeah, that's what I'm imagining for this room. But I'm really happy with how this room came out. Like, it has a very autumn color scheme because you've got yellows and oranges and browns and reds, so I just really like the color scheme in here. And I'm also glad I was able to use the bed from Seasons again, because I think I've only used it one other time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've only used it one other time, so really happy to put that to use once again. So now we're just finishing this room up by adding a few posters here and there. This one actually came together really quick. Like, also, like, just both the bedrooms up here, or like both the children's bedrooms, came together pretty quickly. Like, I think it only took me about 10 minutes to furnish each of them, which is pretty quick for me, because I've sunk an hour of time into furnishing a room before. So I'm glad that the furnishing of this house actually went by pretty quick for me. Like, I was definitely on a roll, because like sometimes I get stuck, it takes me forever to furnish, but once I got past the like figuring out the landscaping, I actually got through this build pretty quickly, although it still took me around 4 hours to make. But that's just because I was being very detailed with everything. Just because I really like putting a good amount of detail into my builds, like making them feel lived in. And with this house, I didn't want it to feel like a perfect showroom house. I wanted it to feel a little mismatched, a little dated. You know, like it's definitely not a luxurious house, but I really enjoy decorating houses that are like that. Also, if this floor plan looks very similar, I'm pretty sure it's a mirrored version of the floor plan I used, because I made a Sims 3 speed build like back in May, and that I actually based off a floor plan, and I think this is a mirrored version of the floor plan I looked at for that one, and I didn't realize it was until I started on making this, because I was like trying to figure out like why this feels so familiar, and then I realized that's what it is. So if you've been wanting to see me recreate, like make a build in The Sims 3 and then make it in The Sims 4, then this is kind of like that, although I wasn't trying to, of course, exactly recreate that build from The Sims 3, but it's the same floor plan. So yeah, it's kind of that. I don't know, maybe that's something I'll do someday, but I don't know. I've just got a lot of other stuff I need to work on right now. Plus I've just been a little bit more busy in general lately. So that is why I haven't been uploading as frequently lately, which I do feel bad about because lately I've only been uploading like once or twice a week, like this past month, and I'm really sorry about that, but I've just been having more stuff than usual going on over the weekend lately, and that's when I tend to get a lot of work on videos done. Like usual, I'll record a Let's Play part or two over the weekend, and I'll work on builds over the weekend because I don't have as much time after I get home from work, but yeah, just the things I've been going on have been taking up a huge chunk of that time, and also I'm going to be going on a trip in October, so I've just been trying to plan for that as well, but hopefully once we get to November, things should be quieting down a little bit. I can get back to making 3 or 4 videos a week like I try to do, because my goal is to usually upload every other day, but it's just with stuff that comes up in life that's not always doable, and I don't really like to hold myself to an exact schedule because like this is my hobby. This is fun. You're like, I got a full-time job, like that's my work, this is my fun, so if I'm feeling stressed out, like if I'm starting to get really overwhelmed by the amount of videos I think I have to make, then I decide to just like cut a video out or like push things back an extra day because I'm trying my best not to make this something that stresses me out because then it's no longer fun. So hopefully you all understand that, but we are on to the master bedroom now. And while what to do with the children bedrooms came to me really quickly, it took me a bit more time to figure this one out. Like I had a failed attempt at furnishing it where I just was not happy with what I was doing, but in the end I'm pretty happy with this one, although it is very blue. So yeah, sorry about that. I don't know, I always feel bad about the amount of blue I use in my builds, but it is my favorite color, so I do tend to gravitate towards it more, but I am trying to mix up colors a little bit more in builds, although I know that's something, like, there's always things to work on and to get better on, but still, I just really like how this looks, because I was gonna originally use the cats and dogs bed, but I just wasn't really feeling it for some reason, although it does fit in with this house very well, so I just decided to mix in the city living bed, like mix it in with the cats and dogs furniture, and I thought that was something that ended up looking really neat. Like this bedroom just looks very, very cozy. But now we're on to the master bathroom, and it was a little tricky to figure out the layout of this because there were a lot of windows off of it, and I didn't want to delete the windows, but I also didn't want to stick stuff in front of the windows like the counters or the toilet. Like I feel like it'd be super awkward to stick the toilet right smack dab in front of the window, so that left figuring out where to put things a teensy bit challenging. Like it wasn't that bad, like I definitely have had worse bathrooms to figure out the layout for, but yeah, it's not really the best layout because there's just a lot of empty space, because yeah, I just have the shower tub combo over on the one side, and then on this other side there's not really a whole lot going on, so we just got the toilet in the corner there, like kind of intersecting with the curtains, but not a ton, so I think it's fine. And then apart from that, we just got a hamper, a little cabinet thing, and then I stuck a full-size mirror in here because there's a closet in there, so I thought, I don't know, like maybe they're grabbing stuff out of the closet and getting dressed in there, and they'd want to have a mirror to look at their clothing in, because I don't think I stuck a full-length mirror in the bedroom either, and that's something I try to stick in every bedroom, so I don't know, I was just trying to figure out how to fill up space, so I just stuck that in there. But we are onto the garage now, and Originally, this was going to be an absolute pointless space that just had decorative items, because my original plan was to make an unfinished area of the basement that had the workbench in it and had the decorative box item that came with seasons in it and other miscellaneous junk, so that I wasn't really sure what to do with the garage, so I just had that table that came with Get to Work and just random decorations, and I wasn't happy with that because I don't like having rooms that are just useless, and the shed was already a useless space, like there's nothing useful in there, so I didn't want the garage to be the same thing. So I decided that rather than having the unfinished area in the basement, I would just make that a home office because that was something I realized we needed. And then I would just do my usual, like, sticking the decorations on the shelf thing in the garage, and then stick the decoration box in here, and then stick the workbench in here. So there is now actually some useful things in this room. So yeah, I'm a lot happier with that. Yeah, because I just realized I didn't have an office area for the parents anywhere in this house. Like, there was just a computer in one of the child rooms, and I didn't want that to be the only computer, so I figured it'd be a lot more useful to just put a home office in the basement. And speaking of basement, we are now onto the basement. So for down here, I went with the lovely paneling everywhere look that older basements have. So there you go. Like, I was just keeping it easy. Like, I just did not feel like thinking about wallpaper down there. So I was like, you know, we'll just slap panel everywhere. Like, that's a thing that I have seen in basements. Like, the house I used to live in until I was like 10 had paneling throughout the entire basement, or at least the finished part of it. Like, I remember there was a rec room with all paneling, and then there was a bedroom with all of the same paneling, and then it had brown carpet. So this is kind of like that thing. Although, I don't know, I don't like in real life, I do not like paneling in basements because it makes them feel like dark and dingy. Although I do like carpet in basements. Although it does get to be a problem if you get water in a basement. Like, that's the unfortunate thing. Like, it does make basements feel cozier and less cold, but if you get water in your basement, which is a common occurrence with basements, then it's just a whole extra hassle to get the water out of it. Like, I talked about it in a previous video, but I got some water in my basement like back in May when the window well for one of our basement windows like filled up, and then all came in through the window and got all over the floor, and we're just sitting there like trying to suck it out with a shop vac. Yeah, if we had hard flooring in our basement, it would have been so much easier to get out. But yeah, fortunately, everything is still fine with that. I think we dodged a bullet. Like, no mold has popped up from that, so yeah, glad that's the case. But yeah, anyway, so down here we just have a whole little TV area. So it's kind of like a video game area. Like, we got an older tube TV down here, and then I pulled out some console items, or like some controller items, and stuck them on the coffee table. So it's just like the controllers they would use to play video games. I thought that'd be a fun touch. And I was thinking about putting the projector TV down here, or a nicer big screen TV, but I didn't feel like the family who owned this house would have a super nice TV like that in their basement. Like, I felt that it would be more of a put the older, crappier TV down here. Like, it's a more chill area, you know, like, it's not like the ultimate basement hangout area kind of a deal, like, where it's like the best entertainment system ever. And then apart from that, we've got a foosball table and a Don't Wake the Llama game and movie posters everywhere, because I just thought that felt like a perfect basement wall decoration type of thing. And then there's also the kids play area that I was talking about, which is another part of this basement that I really like. Like, this is just why I like adding basements into homes, because you can add all of these cool activities into them that you usually can't fit into the main level of a house. And this room is also a gym, but rather than having the carpet in here, I felt like it would be better to just have the concrete in here with a kind of a shock absorbing workout mat in there. So that's done. Like, I didn't really put a huge amount of effort into the gym because I just wasn't really sure what to do with it, and I just felt like this wasn't a family who like has the most high end of things, so I didn't feel like they would have this like super duper fancy like souped up home gym. I mean, you just kind of got like some basic workout equipment in there. Like, it's not super super well furnished or like super fully furnished. Like, I was thinking about using that wall item from Spotty that looks like fitness supplements, but that was a thing that I didn't feel fit into this house. And then here we have a creepy basement bathroom, which is definitely in worse shape than the upstairs bathrooms. Like, I was imagining that maybe those were updated in like the 90s, and then this one was just left from like the 60s or whatever era this house was made. And now that I think about it, I should have added some cracks to the walls, That's like one of those things I always think about after I finish the build, or maybe some like exposed piping, like that would have been a nice touch for that bathroom, but nope, didn't think about that. So here we are on to a teen bedroom. I thought it'd be cool to have a teen bedroom down here in the basement. So I thought it'd be nice to have that bright bed just to kind of contrast the very neutral brown walls. And then other than that, we just got some basic bedroom items in here. Like we got a desk, we got a mirror, we got a dresser, just regular old bedroom items, and a bookshelf and a chair. I don't know, not terribly exciting, but here I'm just adding in a closet just to make things feel a little bit more realistic. I thought that, and also just to kind of break up the rectangular shape of the room, make it look a little bit more exciting, I guess, although it doesn't make it terribly more exciting. But yeah, we just got some knickknacks going on top of the dresser. And then there's also going to be a bunch of posters up on the wall, so here we go, just sticking all of that in. Like, I find teen and child rooms more fun to furnish than the master bedrooms because you can just have fun and stick posters all over the place, and they tend to be a little bit more casual. Like, I tend to make the master bedrooms look a little bit nicer, a little bit more formal. And I think it's also I tend to also add in more skill building items into teen and child rooms because, like, the way I see it, like, as the, you know, the parent, you're like the owner of the house, so like the whole house is kind of like your space to put your own things in. But then, like, when you're a teen or a child, like, your room is your space, like, that's your space to customize, so that's where your things are, so there just tends to be more crammed into them and more things that show their interest, since the rest of the house mainly shows the interest of the parent Sims, you know, the ones who own the house. But we are onto the office, which is the last room of this house, so we just got a computer on a desk, and then an easel and some other assorted art stuff, because I imagine that one of the Sims was really into painting, so they just kind of got a whole mini art studio. And this room isn't really the nicest room, like everything's just kind of shoved in here, but this isn't something that, you know, like, guests will see, so I figured it's fine if it was a teensy bit messy. But yeah, we are almost at the end of the building part of this video, so as usual, there will be a link to download this in the description down below, and other stuff in there on how to find it in-game. And that is going to be all for me, so I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.